There are just things that most people hate that it doesn't deserve to be hated. Like pineapples on pizza, pickles on cheeseburgers, banana ketchup, and AI upscaling in modern video games. So let's talk about that. Alright, so I'm gonna show you two images and you tell me, which one looks better? This one or this one? Do you see any difference? Exactly. On the first one, we have a game with overall lower performance compared to the second one, which has significantly better FPS and looks about the same in most cases. Or even better. Now, I could just end the video right here because I'm pretty sure I proved my point already. But I need money to buy RAM, so yeah, let's keep going. I genuinely don't understand why people hate AI upscaling like DLSS, FSR, and XeSS, all of it. Like, they just get so much hate. Every time this comes up, it's the same two arguments. It makes the games look like shit, and this is why developers stopped optimizing games. And look, I get it. Maybe the first impression of AI upscaling weren't good. I know, it looked like absolute horseshit back then, and I get why people would just hate it. But that's back then. But now? Like, bro, if people would just pull their heads out of their ass for 5 seconds and actually look at the new improvements and implementations instead of parroting the same outdated talking points from 2020, they'd realize the technology has evolved. Like, a lot. But nah. Some people are still out here forming their entire opinion based on DLSS1 screenshots they saw on Reddit thread 4 years ago. Like, the tech's improved massively. These aren't the same blurry, artifacted mess people love to complain about back then. But, you know, admitting to that would mean people would have to update their opinions, and apparently that's harder than just staying wrong and be loud about it on Twitter. Yeah, I mean X. X. What the fuck is it even called that? Like, I don't know what's people's obsession with hating innovations at this point. Now, I know some people have finally figured out that these upscalers are actually really useful and just a no-brainer at this point. But for those who still don't, I genuinely don't get you. Now, we all know that most modern video games today are insanely complex. We're talking about real-time ray tracing, photogrammetry assets, massive open world, dynamic lighting systems, stuff that would have been impossible to render in real time 10 years ago. Native 4K at high settings with all that turned on, if your GPU sucks, it might literally start catching fire trying to brute force keeping that game running. So these upscalers isn't a cheat. It's literally one of the reasons you can play these games at reasonable settings without spending $3 on a new graphics card. It's more of a tool, a really good, useful tool that lets you render games at lower res and output it into a higher one while gaining 40 to 50% more performance with minimal visual loss. And before someone comments, just lower your settings and turn on native. Yeah, okay, Mr. Shit. Or hear me out, I could just use a technology that already exists to make my game look good and run better at the same time. And all that is assuming that your current rig can already run games natively because it's powerful enough. But for the people with older components, dude, AI upscaling is literally the difference between playing a game and not playing a game. You think someone with an RTX 2060 or an RX 6500 XT wants to play the latest AAA games at 1080p low settings getting 45 FPS? Hell no. But turn on FSR or DLSS and suddenly that same card is pushing 60 plus FPS with medium to high settings. That's like free fucking FPS, dude. Just fucking use it. This is especially important right now when GPU prices are still insane and people are still holding onto their cards longer than ever. Not everyone can afford to drop $800 on an RTX 4080 or whatever the hell Nvidia is charging on their top-end cards these days. There's still so many people rocking the good old 2060 Super or the 5700 XT from 2019 to 2020, and you know what? With upscaling, those cards are still absolutely viable for modern gaming. But sure, let's act like spoiled brats and tell people they need to buy a new hardware every 2 years to play newer games. That's definitely cool. Or you could just admit that upscaling is actually better for the environment and your wallet in the long run. Cause this thing can literally make your GPU run more games in the future, and this tech would just keep on improving. You're not throwing away perfectly good silicons every generation. You're not contributing to e-waste. You're not spending hundreds of dollars you don't have. It's literally a win-win situation, but people would rather be elitist about native resolution like it's a badge of honor. And the other thing, frame generation, because this is where literally people starts to lose their... They keep saying things like, fake frames, input lag, it's cheating, it's fucking... Well, okay, calm down. Frame generation, specifically stuff like DLSS3 frame generation or FSR3 with fluid motion, is genuinely impressive tech. Does it add a tiny bit of latency? Yeah, like 5 to 10 milliseconds in most cases. Is that noticeable when you're playing competitive CS2 or Valorant? Probably, but why the fuck would you use it on those games anyways? What the fuck? I don't get that argument too. Like, you're not using frame gen for you're not using frame gen for competitive games. So why the fuck would you give a shit about 5 to 10 milliseconds? That's barely noticeable. Unlike those games already achieve higher frame rates because they're competitive games. Like, you use this for single player games, like the ones where you use your game controllers, which you can barely notice the latency, by the way. So unless you're a speedrunner where latency can actually affect you, then this would literally make no sense. Because you can just turn it off, man. Shut the fuck up about it. And if the latency is so bad, or the game is ghosting a lot, then you probably used more than the 4x frame generation settings or something. Then yeah, it's to be expected that it would perform like that. And yeah, I do understand that these features would make some developers just ignore optimizing games and just rely on these features, but that's so unfair to these technologies because all they're trying to do is give you more FPS, not cause these developers to be lazy shits about their game optimization. That's like blaming Jensen Huang for making you bankrupt because you bought their GPU. And yeah, I do get it. There's something just so pure about native resolution rendering. I understand the appeal of what you see is what you get without AI interpolation. But we're not living in 2015 anymore. Games are more demanding, hardware is getting more expensive, and upscaling tech is just getting so good that the trade-offs are basically not even visible for 90% of the players. So if you want to play games at native resolution, just go for it. Nobody's stopping you, but stop acting like the people who use upscaling are somehow playing games wrong, or that the technology itself is a plague on gaming. Because it's not. It's just a setting option. A really good option that makes gaming more accessible to more people and more affordable. And honestly, more enjoyable for millions of people. So yeah, upscaling and frame gen, they're good. You should use it. That's all. Bye.